This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors who make this content possible. Thank you for your support.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Connect Now.
Yes, welcome everyone.
We are really excited because you know what? Last week's episode was amazing. We got to talk to the wife.
Yes,
the
Andrea.
Andrea of Dr. Juan Pablo, right? Juan?
The wife.
Yeah, but with the wife of the doctor.
Yes.
Yes.
With My Prime Care.
With My Prime Care, and it is so informational, and I love the fact because now that we're talking about it, a lot of people are starting to hear more about it, and I love it because they're asking me now, like, oh, can I get that number? Can I I
know I've been seeing you passing their information around a lot more.
Yes.
Because they have a great business here in West Covina. So if you guys haven't heard about them and because you didn't watch the show last week, make sure you guys look up My Prime Care here in West Covina and see what they're all about.
And it's a good thing too because we just had a friend of ours in here, Tiny, with Tiny Sound Inc., and he just gave us a testimony as well that he was at the gym and somebody recognized him and told him that they loved his story on the show. Yeah. So that was amazing too.
They actually just talked to him, and then the guy actually looked him up, and
they found that of him and said, "Man,
show.
I love your story. Thank you for being so transparent." So if you have a great story of a business, contact us. Get a hold of us. We would love to share more about your story and get you on Let's Connect Now.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Ralph.
Welcome to Munoz and Munoz.
Come check it out. Here at Munoz and Munoz, every case is important to us. Big or small or big, we're here to help you.
And here also, privacy is our number one priority for all of our clients. So come check it out. Our number one priority is serving the community. We want to give the best attorney service out there in the industry. We're here to help you. Please call us for any personal injury or criminal defense needs that you may need.
So thank you guys for visiting our firm. As you can see, I'm here, Michael's here, always ready to serve you guys for any questions. And please, do not hesitate to call us for anything you need. It could be the simple question, we're here for you. Y sí, hablamos español.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the show with Let's Connect Now. My name is Danielle Wood. I'm with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a division of Certified Federal. You guys want to contact us regarding any banking needs or even auto loans and personal loans, feel free to contact me at any time. You can reach me at 909-396-9688 or 909-504-7371. I'm looking forward to talking and speaking with you all soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
So can I announce that today's
I wanted to, but I'll let you, I guess.
No, because it's a privilege for the two of us.
Yes.
Because, not only I'm going to uplift him because not only is he a great guy, ever since the very first time I met him, he's the same as he was the first time I met him. And I love it when we meet people that are very genuine.
Yes.
And so our guest today, it's a privilege for, our show to have you on our show. We welcome you. We have Councilman Ollie Cantos.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Now we gave you the crowd ovation.
I love it.
Aiden did a great job. Aiden, yes.
Yes. Hi, everybody.
No, thank you so much for coming on, Councilman. We really appreciate it. We know that you guys are always busy. You're out there, especially you. You're always out there in the community, shaking hands, making sure you're in the community action and also the business community as well. Mm-hmm. And I love that about you. And you've been like that since we've met him. I mean, that's where I met you. You were actually, I believe he came to an event here, and you were campaigning at that time to become a council
Yes,
member.
that's right.
And I met you.
That's right. It's August 2nd, 2022 when we...
What?
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
That was
my
on a
God.
Tuesday.
Wow.
He's got a great
Yeah,
memory
on
on
a
top of
Tuesday.
everything else.
Oh, gosh, was it second or third? It
outstanding.
was a Tuesday. Yeah.
Wow.
You can check. I think it's Tuesday, August 2nd.
You know what? I'm going to fact check him right now, Oscar. Fact check it. No,
Fact check.
Yeah, no, our good friend, introduced us, and he said, I have a guy that I need you to meet, Steve Bennett. He was like, I have a guy that I need you to meet, Monica. You need to meet him. He's running for, what is it, District 4. And I was like, oh, okay. And so when I met you, you were with your parents. And it was just amazing. It was just amazing. And you know what? I have really good discernment. I really have to say that I have good discernment. And I just knew that you were going to, to win your campaign for District 4. And you did.
Thank you.
And-
It's been really a lot of fun. From the time of starting the campaign and then all the way through now, it has been amazing. It's just been a blast.
I'm sure you've learned more than anyone.
Well, it's the thing that has been really, really incredible with this whole journey already is getting to be with residents from throughout the city and way, way, way beyond. And it's just such a privilege to get to be of service here and to do it in different contexts. Sometimes I'm at schools, sometimes the senior center, just all sorts of different places around the community. I love it.
Can I ask a question? Because some people will as you became a council member, they might see that, okay, yeah, you have a great spirit, you have a lot of knowledge, but how did they receive you with you being blind?
You know what? That's a good question. It actually never came up on the campaign trail except on one occasion when there was a candidate from another district who decided to say stuff, and I put the kibosh on that really fast through a long online article that I wrote to combat the myths and misconceptions about disability. And then after that, it was gone. Other than that one person, it really has been incredible where people didn't care about the whole disability thing. They just basically said either, oh, well, just what can you do for our community, or what will you do for me? Or in some cases, because it was the campaign trail, get the heck off my lawn. I got it all.
So I'm sure the community. A lot of people know you, and the community, embraces you. They love you. But there's might be some viewers that don't know and don't have any background on you. So do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I have been part of West Covina since 1974, and so this November I will have been here for 51 years.
Oh my gosh!
And
Wow.
so I came here. I was born in L.A. To my parents, Orlando and Linda Cantos, and they immigrated from the Philippines in the 60s. And so when I came here to West Covina, I was really still little, just in preschool. And then since then, I've not only grown up here, but I went away to Washington for 19 years. And even during the time I was in D.C., I still came home 2 or 3 times a year. So this has always been home. This has always been my hometown. And getting to be here and getting to be of service to the community where I grew up in is just so awesome. I love it because I know this town left and right, backward and forward. So it's really.
I think you know it better than us.
Yes.
Gosh,
Well,
it's amazing.
Not enough to drive in it, but
Almost,
no,
but to maneuver us. Yeah.
I know. I sometimes I'm like, I'm driving you home, and you're like, you missed my street. I'm like, how did he know that? He knew I missed a street.
that was funny.
I know that's amazing. That's really amazing how independent you are. Sometimes I think because I care about you so much. I want to make sure that I'm clearing the way for you. But you don't need that. You do so well on your own, and it's amazing because to me it's almost like, what disability? It's just you do such a great job. Not only when I see you at the city council and you're sitting there and you speak so elegantly, you're so professional and you know what you're talking about. And to me, that is, I really have to praise you for that.
Oh, thank you, Monica. I just love you and JR. I mean, since knowing the two of you, the impact that you both have had on the business community and on the broader community at large, it has been incredible. More than a decade. What is it, 12 years by now with GWC, not even counting before that? I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, the way that you both are such wonderful ambassadors for West Covina and how businesses can turn to you for support and how supportive you are of everybody, it is just really a wonderful thing to behold. And that's why I just love you both. You're just really awesome.
No, thank you. Appreciate it. Those are some kind words. I always have to make sure I articulate my words well with you, because I feel like because you listening to my words, I want to make sure I sound great.
No, because you're very articulate. You speak very elegantly, and it's just and I don't know. Whenever you speak, I'm just like, wow, this guy knows his stuff. And I think it has to do a lot with your education, and not only that, but you have your job, like your job. I don't know. I've heard that some people say he's an attorney, this and that. So can you clarify that?
Oh, sure. I actually became an attorney back in 1999, but I actually first got really involved in the community in 1990, and the first time I was exposed to city issues was in 1991 when there was a traffic light issue and the accessibility and the way it was done incorrectly. And so I wrote to every member of the city council at that time, and the one person who reached back to me and who responded was Steve Herford.
Oh, Steve.
And he went to bat for me with that issue, and we lost. But and he and Mike Toohey were supportive, so it was a 3-2 vote. But that was when I became friends with Steve, and he continues to be a friend to this day. And he's not only a mentor, but he's like a big brother figure to me, and I really appreciate him. And so after I first got involved with that, then eventually I went to college at Loyola Marymount University, and I graduated from there in 1992.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to Loyola Law School, and then in 1999 I ended up becoming licensed to practice law. And so I did that for a number of years, where I was staff attorney and director of outreach for an organization in Los Angeles. And on top of that, I also really championed legal services for low-income individuals, and I was on the board of directors of the Legal Aid Foundation of Los Angeles, which was the second largest provider of legal services to low-income people in the country. And I started that when I was 20 years old, in that role, and I eventually became vice president there. But then fast forward, once I was out for a while, for 3 years, I went to Washington to become general counsel and director of programs for a large disability organization that had 70,000 members. And then I took a program that they had supporting employment, and I 10x'd it within 3 years. And then I ended up joining the federal government. And then in 2004, I joined as a special assistant to the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights at the Justice Department. And then in 2006, I went to the White House and I worked for the president there, then back to the Justice Department, and then with the U.S. Department of Education, where I've been for the past 13 years.
Amazing. Top that, JR.
And he's only 21. He's only 21. Wow.
Right.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
right.
an impressive resume.
Yes.
Impressive.
So you've been surrounded by politics so much that you, at
have.
one point in your life, you're like, I'm going to run for a council member.
Oh yeah, I've politics is in my blood. Actually, my dad's dad was a member of Congress in the Philippines.
Oh, okay.
wow.
And so it's always been something that's interesting to me. And I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 10. And then there was a lot of adversity along the way, and I wanted to change my mind a few times. But I ultimately didn't change my mind because my mom wouldn't let me. She when I wanted to quit because it was hard, she said, "No, you are never quitting." And doing otherwise is just not an option. You just cannot quit, and you're not going to quit, and I'm not letting you quit. And so I stuck with it, and it turned out to work really, really well.
Wow, props to your mom. Props to your mom.
Absolutely.
Yeah, moms are great. My mom's here. She's watching right there.
Yes, hi, Ruth.
Your memory is amazing. I know, right? I mean, he just met you like 3 minutes ago, Ruth, and he remembered your name. Wow, I'm telling you, he's just an
you're
amazing individual.
And you do, and you've done amazing stuff. I mean, you've also adopted children, right?
Yes, that's right.
You adopted children. When you want to share about that?
Sure. Back in 2010, a social service agency approached me and said, "Hey, Ollie, I'd like to to introduce you to 3 blind triplet boys, and they're
Wow.
10 years old, and they've been shut in their house for 7 years. They
wow.
never went anywhere outside except to go to school, but other than that, they were just told to sit on the couch, and that's just been their life. But in light of all of your leadership and all the stuff you've done, can you just mentor them? And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I've done that, and I've done Big Brother stuff and everything, so I decided to take them on as mentees. But long story short, what ended up happening was that they were more like my kids, and so there's a whole story about how that all started. That's going to be way long, but it's really amazing. So long story short, I ultimately adopted them as my own. So now they are Leo, Nick, and Steven Cantos, and even with that tough
That's
background,
amazing.
they ended up becoming the first blind triplets in Boy Scouts of America history ever to become Eagle Scout. So
Wow. Oh, man.
Gosh, I'm just like, my gosh, that's such a blessing. That is a blessing. That's amazing. That's
Yeah, and you
amazing.
continue to do that in the community, because I mean, every event we've asked you to join us, you've been there with us, and even if we've gone to an event and you're there, you always just brighten the day. What do I say, Monica? That I love when it's Ollie's turn to get on the mic, because he gives so much energy. He'll be like, "What's going on, West Covina?"
Yeah.
And I love it.
He pumps everybody up.
Right? I always say,
in
don't
such
I
a
say that all the
yeah.
time? I go, I love when Ollie does that.
In such a good way. Your message always just like it stays with people. It motivates people, and I know that you've already served, in your terms coming to to an end. But hey, I mean, I shouldn't say to an end. You're gonna. How should I phrase that so it doesn't?
well, the first term is ending.
Yeah, the first
so
term
that'll
is
be
ending.
Done, that'll be done next year in
Yes.
2026.
And so
but, yeah.
we need to get you reelected.
Definitely.
Because West Covina is Ollie Cantos.
That's right. Everyone
And
knows.
So tell us what you felt you've accomplished in the past 4 years.
Oh,
Want
my
to hear a little
gosh.
bit about that?
Sure.
And what you look forward to in the next 4 years.
Well, there are a number of things that I wanted to do when coming into office. And just to broaden it out for context purposes, when I ran, I thought in my mind, what would I want my ideal council member to be? If I were in the community, what would that person be like? And when I came up with my list, that included things like that the person had to be engaging in the community, had to be someone to unite people from different backgrounds and different perspectives, had to be someone who really cares and is accessible and who dedicates a lot of time to the job to really make the best of it. And bringing those things to fruition, when I ended up getting elected, I wanted to make sure to embody those qualities as best as I could. And so I literally spend anywhere from 60 to 80 to nowadays more than 100 hours a week at this, even though I have a full-time job. But since January, I'm no longer working actively. But before then, I did my day job for Monday through Thursday, and then evenings and the rest of the time I did council stuff. So what ended up happening was I have been so grateful to really work on a number of different issues. That includes first of all, starting with the engagement, I am the only council member who actually has district meetings on a quarterly basis, or at all, actually, where I actually convene the city and residents to come and just share whatever they need. And so
good.
what happens, though, is as a result of that engagement, whenever they bring up different issues that are of concern in their neighborhood around the city, we've gotten those things tackled. And so those are the things I'm really excited to have gotten to help take care of, literally ranging from things needed to be fixed around town, potholes, graffiti, homelessness issues, somebody needed a job or an internship, or there were issues at a park, or there are senior citizens who wanted expansion of services, or all sorts of things. And I've been able to work on all of those things. And so there are literally dozens of issues that I work to tackle every day. Beyond just sitting at a city council meeting and passing policies, it has also entailed bringing different organizations together. One of the things I never anticipated getting to do was work on water policy, all things water. I mean, never. Like, what water comes out of the tap? That's it. I didn't realize the role that we can have here. So I ended up joining, becoming a fellow with water education water education for Latino leaders, or WELL, and that isn't just for Latino leaders, it's for anybody who wants to serve the broader community. And I learned about the importance of not only conservation, but how we can all have a part of that. So because of what I learned as a WELL fellow, or a WELLO, I ended up facilitating a water conservation throughout the city by getting all surveys done for every single one of our parks, and at no cost to us, and also making sure that the city knows not only how to increase its conservation, but how to do that with grant money, so it doesn't it doesn't impact our general fund. And then on top of that, working on promoting conservation among the community, starting and including our own house, and doing videos and promoting access to people having greater awareness. And then there are other things too on other fronts when it comes to employment and employment opportunities. So there, I am really supportive of businesses, and so I've done different things to support businesses, whether it's videos supporting them or working with each of them individually to help optimize their making money here in West Covina, and then also making sure that if there are job opportunities, matching them up with contacts that I have in the school district, so that they will be able to have internship and employment opportunities, and then linking that up with supporting other folks. So that also actually leads to supporting kids in foster care and those who are homeless. I actually have raised by now, in terms of grants or other support, more than $30,000. Wow. It's only been 2 years in supporting a number of different causes that support literally animal welfare, kids in foster care, homeless individuals, different service clubs in town, and being a part of all of that. And so the accomplishments, I could go on forever about that, but the thing that really I love is that people realize that when it comes to members of the city council, for my part of all of this, I am really excited to continue to be here for people individually, whatever that might happen to be. And it has been really, really remarkably magnificent. And as we talk about other issues, I'll be able to cover those too, but I don't want to bore everybody.
Yeah. No, that's amazing.
No,
because what I want to know is, because you're seeing a lot of good things, and us knowing you personally, and I being a part. And being a part of the GWC has allowed me to learn a lot about the political stuff that happens within a city, because as I even go around and visit different friends and stuff, a lot of people don't know what a chamber does, what a city council member does, if anything, they look at you guys as celebrities because they're like, oh, that's like the mayor, that's the city council member, that's this and that. But because I know some people, when they get into a certain position like yours, either they take advantage of it in a good way or a bad way. But what is a job description? What is a council member? What are they supposed to be doing for the community? I mean, they get appointed and they're supposed to do what?
Well, once we're elected, at least the way I approach this is it's literally to be a convener, to bring different organizations or entities or businesses or individuals together to achieve whatever they want in the community. I know that sounds broad, but people come all the time asking for any number of things. Let's say, as another example, I've been a real big supporter of an expansion of a program to help senior citizens and persons with disabilities, where there's actually an Uber program here in town, where if people move their way around from their house in West Covina to somewhere else in West Covina, or to medical appointments nearby, the city actually will cover most of that expense, except for $3 and plus tip and that sort of thing. That did not originate with me, but I'm really grateful to have been supportive of that and to facilitate expansion of that through getting people to understand that that's yet another service that's available to us, instead of the shuttles where people drive around these shuttles and they're empty.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love it. I mean, I just love the fact that, just to have someone like you on, because, I mean, people, like I said, the normal person doesn't understand, I'm gonna use my term. They trip out, like, oh my God, you talk to the council member, you talk to these people and stuff, and what we do, because sometimes we have access to the fire chief, the police chief, and just certain people like we had Ken, he just stopped by, and they're like, man, you guys, and because it's everybody else, it's not the day to day.
Yeah, it's not normal.
It's to us, but us it becomes normal because we have calls with you.
To me, it's been. I remember back, when I first started in the West Covina chamber, when West Covina had a chamber, and just meeting everybody. Yes, it was like I felt very intimidated by the city council members, the representatives, like the legislator, our local senator, and I just thought of them very highly. But as time went by, here we are, 18 years later. To me, it's like they're just normal people. I see them as, well, not necessarily as peers, but almost. It's like, it's like,
we're all
okay,
peers.
it's like I don't see the big deal, but to other people, they're like, that person, that person,
yeah.
and it's like, yes, and and they're just normal people, but they do have a job that they have to, that they have things and obligations that they have to meet. So sometimes, behind the scenes, they're a different way than they would be, in the presence of an audience, and that's your job too. Is when you're in the at the city council meetings, you have an obligation to the people. You're a servant, and you have to do your job. So there's ordinances, there's different policies, like you said.
Exactly.
So a lot of people think, whoa, do I have to know all that before I even consider running for city council?
Oh, no.
Because they think it's just about fighting. And you know what? You learn along the way. Right? You learn along the way, but it's good to have some kind of knowledge on the kind of policies that are, that city government works with, or am I right? Or
Well, the most important thing actually is to be just dedicated to wanting to make that difference. I didn't, like the water thing I told you earlier. I knew nothing about water, but I dedicated myself to learning. So the thing that I had to get used to when I first got elected was, I'll never forget. I got a call and I wasn't sure who the number was. I thought it might have been telemarketing and stuff, but I picked up. And it was the police chief at the time, Richard Bell, and he said, Councilman elect, this is Richard Bell. I'm calling in to report to you, sir. I'm like,
wow.
And so at the beginning, when people are like, Councilman or Councilman elect, I'm like, oh, that's me.
So it takes a little while to get used to it.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it took getting used to. I mean, but the other thing that I really love about this is the access to other elected officials, because I have them on cell phones. So one of the first experiences, I literally was at City Hall one day, and I was traveling to Washington on other business, and I asked them, I said, gosh, I wonder if I could meet our member of Congress, Grace Napolitano at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And then so literally they put in a call, and within 12 hours I was in her office, and we even did a video together, all that kind of stuff. But it's just like, wow, I just get to hang out with her now, Other people, I mean, are Susan Rubio, our state senator Blanca Rubio, our state assemblywoman, other people, and it's really exciting, because when we are able to reach out to and build relationships with other electeds, we can really facilitate massive change. Because if I can commit stuff on my end and they can on theirs, and all of a sudden just the two of us, or whatever number of us, we can actually join forces and get a lot of stuff done.
Oh yeah, and the resources that they have, are powerful, right?
Oh yeah,
and things, you find out so many different things that you probably didn't imagine that they would have access to, which is good to know.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
It's good to know, and it's good for people to educate themselves about the different things that are going on in their city, rather than sometimes, when sometimes they come here and they complain about something else. I'm like, do you guys watch the city council meetings? Why don't you, go and pull out a card and be, be part of the, what is it called when
the process? The oral communications.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah, and no, but I might not, it might not mean that much or whatever. But it obviously means something if you're here with us. But there's nothing we can do on our end. We can, because we have access to you. I mean, I can call you and stuff. Hey, I do have all these numbers.
I'll even give it out here.
and that's the great thing about you, and about you is that we have access to you. Like if we have like an issue that we could share with you, even if it's not your district. You'll get it across to whoever it needs to go to. And so that's the wonderful thing about you, that you have your own district, but you also can advise us on other things, if it's not your district.
Oh yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up, because I don't do the district thing. Like, I got elected by District 4, and they're the ones who vote for me, but I will support anyone from throughout West Covina, and I don't check first if they're in my district or not, because I will still tell people, whoever they want to know, they can look up any of us. But if somebody comes to me for help, I'm not just going to pass it off. I'm going to do whatever I can personally to make sure it gets done. And the way that I do this that works flawlessly is, whenever people email me, I write back, and then I loop in staff, and then I ask staff to reply to everybody to let them and me know about the progress on resolving the issue. Then we do one by one, and we get things taken care of, and whenever I hear things, because that's part of the responsiveness that I wanted to see in my elected officials, and so I wanted to make sure to be that for everybody here. And the funny thing is, whenever people would say, oh, well, I'll vote for you, and I'd say, well, you can't. And they'd be like, what?
I know.
And I'm like, I didn't do it for political reasons. I didn't do it for your vote. I did it because I care.
I know. And, I hope that, part of your plans for the next 4 years, once you get reelected, that you could change that and take away districts. Districts just make it so much harder for people to have a better communication. It should be your city as a whole, like you just said.
Oh, I wish we could. I think these are here to stay.
I know.
Yeah, because of all the litigation and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have a question. I want to piggyback off what you said earlier. That you said that that you are a human being. You are human. And I think that people forget about that stuff.
And I love dogs.
I love dogs. Because anytime a city official, they put them on a pedestal. Like, they can't make any mistakes. They can't, and if they do make a mistake, it's like, oh my goodness. And talking about council, meetings and stuff, like, how do you prep yourself to take, when people go up there and start speaking and they give the 3 to 5 minutes? I told Monica, I could not even do that. I couldn't sit there. But you guys, sit
Jared
there.
said he'll cuss everybody out.
I would just get on the mic and be like, meet me in the back. I'll see you in the back. Next. I'll see you two in the back. Next. I'll see you.
Well, my patience was tested one day when there's this guy who doesn't even live here. He came and he brought a kid's book, and he held it up, and he's like, he pretended to read a story. And then one part he said, I'd like to, and next came along, Ollie Cantos, who can't see worth S, or whatever he said.
Wow.
I abbreviate. And I wanted to lunge across, but it didn't. But the thing is, that's part of free speech.
Wow, yeah.
And the thing is, I'm actually glad we're talking about this, because sometimes there might be people who say, well, if you don't agree, you're a hater. Or you say these things and you criticize, your hater. Everybody has a right to their opinion, and I gladly go into any conversations. There may be times on policy that we agree or disagree, but I'll be honest, and I will do my very, very best. And even if there might be a disagreement on one issue, there might be agreement on other things, and there is always a way to build commonality. And so, to me, this is what we signed up for. There are people who are happy with us. There are people who think that we do nothing. There are people who think we're corrupt. Whatever. Everybody has people who have detractors, whatever, but that is part of just the process for people who don't know us. But I'm always willing to sit down and listen to people, but not just listen just and let it go in one ear and out the other, but actually to listen listen to what their concerns are, and to take action wherever I can. And sometimes I might agree on one thing or another, but more often than not, and pretty much just about in every instance, I have found ways to work collaboratively with practically just about everybody. And that's what I love about this. So whenever people come up and they're really mad about whatever, then I just put myself in their shoes and say, well, if I were frustrated, I'd be mad too. So I don't take it personally when people say stuff, because it's like they're frustrated. They just want somebody to hear them and to take action. That is it. So I go to people when they're mad, and I say, look, what can I do? I'm happy to do what I can.
Yeah, because I think you probably think back about the time when when you were talking about the traffic light, that you could have felt the frustration yourself, if things weren't getting, if you weren't being things were not going the way you would hope that they would go. And so when things are happening in our city and people are getting frustrated, some people lash out in different ways. But when, and I can see when it comes to different policies, I can see difference of opinion. That's normal. But when people make fun of people and they go there and they're doing it just to mock you guys, that's very, very disappointing. That people in the community could just go and think that they could just make this, entertainment, because it's not entertainment. There's issues that are important in our community that are important to certain people, and so when certain people go up there and they do that, I think that's, and when they start, lashing out at you guys personally, to me, that's very disrespectful.
Yeah,
very disrespectful.
It is, but I think that we get to the heart of things when we listen to that and we find ways to collaborate. There are people who originally just didn't like me. They didn't know me, or I didn't know them, and etc. But what ended up happening was I respectfully listened to them. I took action wherever I could, and then slowly the relationship builds. So whenever people are mad, I don't even take it personally, because I just know that there must be something there that needs to be fixed, and so I'm willing to have those conversations. That's why I never shy away from holding my district meetings, no matter what people will say. And what has ended up happening with each of these district meetings is people keep coming back and bringing other people, and no matter where they are in the city, because they know that things get resolved when they come to the district meetings that I host. And I've also offered to support other members of the council if they ever hold district meetings. I'll just come and sit in the back as a supporter, just to be there to support them having their meetings, because engagement is really, really important, and that includes hearing all of the great stuff, but also listening when people are frustrated, and then finding a way to tackle that as best as possible.
And I know that everything that you are saying is so true, because personally, here at the GWC, we've had some stuff, and we've come to you and shared with you, and you've listened, and sometimes you give us, advice to the best of your knowledge, but you always hear us. Every email I've sent you, you've responded. Every text I've sent you, you've responded. And I know that everything that you are saying is factual, because we've experienced it ourselves with you, and it's amazing. It's amazing that you could work so many hours and still have time to devote to our city the way that you are doing it. So, yeah. So. Let's reelect Councilman Cantos.
So what are some goals that you have coming up?
Oh gosh, well, I still want there to be a solar farm built on the upper level of where the BKK used to be. I think that we have a lot of opportunity there. If we were to build a solar farm up there, it would generate revenue. It would be clean energy, and I'm also supportive of that being done with union jobs, and having people have a fair day's work for a fair day's pay. And if we were to communicate that and really have that happen, it would still generate revenue for the city. We'd have clean energy, and on top of that, it'll just be a wonderful use of the space that can't otherwise be used. That's one of the things I really still want to get done. The other is to increase the relationship, continue increasing the relationship between the city itself and the school districts, and that's why I actively support going to any and every school where I'm invited to come, whether it's for a career day or other assemblies where I speak to the entire school or whatever it is, where we also build the kind of relationship where if the school districts need something from the city, then we'll be here to help support that, and if we need something from them, we'll be able to support. And so that's why if we were to do that and to continue that, then we will be able to increase opportunities for kids to continue to thrive. And the other thing that I want to do at a policy level is to make sure that our parks are really improved significantly. So as an example, we're going to be putting together a park master plan. West Covina has 16 parks, and so there are a series of meetings coming up where people from the community can say what they want in the parks. I want as many people there as possible. On April 29th, there's going to be the first meeting at Cameron Community Center from starting at 6 p.m., and there will be food, I made sure. where kids and adults could come and say what do they want at the different parks. So I really want to make sure to get that done. And the other thing, there's some other things that I can't do right now because I don't have the votes from other members of the council, but I want ultimately to increase participation by the community in nonprofit organizations and also with commissions. I'd like for people to be able to be excited to serve, knowing that they get to serve without being worried about being removed for no reason, which is now what the city council has passed yesterday.
Okay.
Now you can do a supermajority of 4 who can let any appointee of a council member go if 4 people just don't like them or they don't want to say what the reason is. I fought against that. I did everything I could, but I lost. It was a 4-1 vote, and I lost.
Wow.
I'm sorry, 3-2. 3-2.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm really grateful to Councilwoman Rosario Diaz for standing with me on that, because we each right now, we have an ability to appoint our own commissioners to different things, and but now under the new policy that will take effect in 30 days, if 4 members of the council want to remove my appointees and they have the 4 votes, even if they don't say a reason, they can let them go, and that's just, it's an injustice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that kind of thing. I mean, that's something that I'm still going to remember. I'm still going to hold on to. But the another thing is to support with the future. I want to support senior citizens, where the the community and senior center at Cortez Park has to be continually improved with more services there for seniors. And I've had a really wonderful relationship with the Senior Citizens Association of West Covina with whatever they've wanted to have happen there, whether it be for beautification or program improvement or just access to, or the environment getting even better and that sort of thing. So I mean, there's just so much that has
so much
to be done.
Yeah, more. There's so much more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's certain things, I don't know if you're able to talk about it, but I have a question. I don't want you to violate the Brown Act in any way.
Oh, I'm by myself.
Okay,
so.
great.
Yeah.
But the BKK has had, I've seen so many different plans for that particular area. Who stands together with you for this solar farm?
Well, right now the staff hasn't come back with the request for proposals or RFP. I put it out more than a year ago, and it still hasn't been done. Where they need to put out an RFP that invites solar farm companies to propose what they would do up at that upper level, upper deck there. The top of the landfill, and then so once that happens, then we'll be able to see what they propose. But that's just a big thing that I really want to have happen, because I also believe in fiscal responsibility and doing whatever we can that not to go into deficit and not to overspend, and I believe that the way to do that is to find creative ways to increase revenue while being more efficient with the money that we do have. And so that's also something that's really important.
So do you feel like the studies that they have been done up there will impact your plans in any way possible because of all the agencies that did a lot of studies during the time that they wanted to build up there?
Oh, a solar farm would be perfectly in line with that, because it's not having people go up there and to work up there or to live up there. It's just laying out a bunch of panels and then having that feed into a grid and then having us sell that power, which is where the money comes from, where we would then generate revenue from the power that is generated there, because when we sell the power back, then that actually creates new money coming into the city. Oh, and the other thing too is to increase law enforcement. I am a real strong supporter of law enforcement with police and with safety, with public safety, with fire. We have to do whatever we can to make sure that we stay safe on both of those fronts, and that means arming law enforcement with the tools that they need and the training they need to continue to thrive. And I also believe that supporting public safety entails making sure that they are happy, and that we also optimize engagement with those. And the PD and the fire department have both been magnificent with supporting neighborhood watch groups all over the city, as well as with being there at different events and promoting safety, and really doing a magnificent job with making sure that we are all kept safe.
Is the unhoused still an issue in West Covina?
The what house?
The unhoused, the homelessness
Oh,
issue.
unhoused.
Yes.
Well, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, because the old count, it's called a point in time or PIT count. It used to be roughly 270 or so, and the number that I heard in February when this was last done, because it's done in February of every year, was 40.
Oh.
So it dropped significantly. But the reason why I think a big part of that is that, not all of it, but I actively patrol the city at least 3 times a week. I go not only to my district, but to other places, and I see if there are issues where there are homeless individuals that need to be approached to offer services, and then from there to take whatever actions to help maximize a win-win for everybody. And I actually went out as part of the what we call the HOPE team, which is a homeless outreach prevention education team, where I literally go out with our team to talk with homeless people, unhoused individuals myself. So it isn't just my standing away at some ivory tower saying, hey, you should go do this to help the homeless. I actually go myself to be of support and to know them. I know their stories. I know many of them by name, and I'm really supportive of mental health and addiction recovery, and finding ways for them to have access to those services too.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome.
Well,
I know we were just like, wow. There's a lot of information, a lot of great information.
No, this is a lot of great information. Yes,
you know that you've shared with us, and so any last words, Ollie? And I call him Ollie because not only I respect him a lot too, but he's also my friend. So.
You can get away with it.
Right.
She can get away with it.
Always. Well, I'd like to just invite the community to stay in touch or get in touch with me. I'll give out my number. It's 626-926-9627. So if anyone wants to text me about any issues or to email me, they can reach out to me at Ollie, OLLIE .Cantos, CAN like Nancy, T like Tom, OS like Sam, at westcovina.org. And I'm just really excited to be of support to folks throughout West Covina, and also to just find new ways to partner up with any allied nonprofits in the community or whatever I can do. I am ready to help.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
That's
Well, thank
amazing.
you so much, Councilman. I really appreciate your time to come out here and spend with myself, because you came to see me. No, and Monica, it means a lot to us, because we know you have a busy schedule and stuff, but it means a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we
And that's where
appreciate you. No, we just appreciate you, but we will provide that information that he just gave out, his email and his phone number, on the caption for our show. And so in the meantime, everybody, make sure you guys are staying connected. Make sure you guys go into westcovina.org, check out all the services that the city does have,
Yes.
for businesses. If you live in the community, the emails for every single member in your district is on there, and there's also some great resources available for you guys on there as well. So again, thank you, Councilman Cantos, for joining us today, and we'll see you guys next time.
Next week.
Thank you so much for watching Let's Connect Now. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you want to be a sponsor, contact us today.